Macon has a rich musical history, and there have been many musicians who've called Macon home over the years. Well, recently, Chris Horn decided to get out and have a few words with country music artist Larry G. Hudson about his life in Macon and his career. Let's see what Hudson had to say.
Macon, Georgia is known for a lot of different kinds of music. R&B, soul, funk, rock and roll, southern rock. But for some reason, until Jason Aldean, we weren't associated with country music as much as we should be. I'm sitting here with Larry G. Hudson, who was making hits 30 years ago. But you want to tell me a little bit about it?
Hey, Chris. Well, Macon, Georgia was my start in the music business, really. Nashville South was a nightclub out on Riverside Drive for years, and Razzie Bailey was the house band there, and they used to have talent contests there. And when Razzie had some success and moved on, the club owner offered me the job, so that was kind of my start in the music business.
Well, when you went up to Nashville, what did you do?
For 11 years, I had a barber shop on Music Row. I kid people and tell them, my hair was growing faster than my songs were selling. So I had over 300 clients, and over half of them were in the music business. From the session players on Garth Brooks records to the managers of Alan Jackson and people like that. In fact, I was Merle Haggard's barber for 8 years, and Johnny Cash's daughter Cindy worked with me for 3 years, who was married to Marty Stewart. I was very careful not to abuse those relationships with people like Johnny Cash, and every time they come in the shop, I wouldn't pitch it a song or something like that. I had been blessed, and I had won the Georgia Championship as a barber in second place in the United States. And 6 months after that, I sold both my shops and said, well, I'm going to pursue music. They said, you have lost your mind, but I don't regret it one bit. I've gained a whole lot of wisdom from it, and a whole lot of knowledge in music, which is what I love.
You still stay in touch with old Hag, right?
Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, every time he comes through, he comes by to see me, and he's flown me all over the country to cut his hair, and after I've cut his hair, we'll swap the guitar back and forth, and to have had that privilege and honor, because he's always been my hero.
So you've actually recorded with Willie Nelson before, isn't it?
Yes, I was on his label Lone Star. Actually, my band and I was in Capricorn Studio one Sunday recording a demo, and Willie was doing a concert in Atlanta, and since I was on his label Lone Star, he drove down from Atlanta, and all of a sudden that demo session we were cutting became my first record on Lone Star. It was Just Out of Reach, My Two Empty Arms, and it went to 37 on Billboard.
Was that your first taste of success there?
It was not my first chart record, but it was certainly a shot in the arm, What's so strange is Willie had about 4 duets out at the same time, and him being on the record was certainly an honor. But actually, once it got up in the 30s, it actually hurt because the radio could only play so much Willie Nelson.
Yeah.
They was playing so many duets, but quite an honor, and I'm thankful to Willie. Willie's a good human being, and so is Merle Haggard. Hey, you'll find that most of the people who are really have paid their dues and are successful are down-to-earth people. They don't put on no air about anything. They're just like us, down-to-earth people.
That's kind of the key, is to pay your dues,
right,
instead of just being thrown up there.
You got to have something to say with your music, before you say anything.
Yeah. Well, you've had 4 charting top 30 songs. What got you out of the music business? What happened?
In 1980, right when I had the 4th top 30 Billboard record, I had a terrific tragedy in my family. My mother killed my father, and it just kind of ended my career. And I didn't handle things as well as I probably should have, at the time. So for the next 10, 11 years, I haven't recorded at all. And of course, the reason I came back in 1994, my brother needed a kidney transplant. And so I gave him a kidney, and in 1996, he passed away anyway. And we were very close, and I love him dearly. So I came back in 96 to help raise his daughter. So it's been kind of like a roller coaster thing, but I'm still at it, and I've spent a lot of time trying to hone my craft. In Nashville, I got an inside view of the machine, how it works. And so that's a vast amount of knowledge. And when you get up there and the guy pumping your gas can outplay you on guitar, you know you need to do some woodshedding. So I really became a better musician in Nashville.
And you just said you have to have something to write about, and obviously you've had plenty of hurt the past few years, so
well,
you put any of that into your work?
I've spent over 25 years writing this conceptual album I'm just now about to start recording. It's been a hard album to write. It has an underlying message to it, you know, and it's been kind of my therapy for dealing with the tragedy. You know? So it's, I didn't write this album for success, or it was kind of just an outlet, and better than paying a psychiatrist $150 an hour to sleep on his couch, you know.
How old were you when you had
Bananas nightclub? I was 28 to 30. And the first year I owned that place, I grossed $600,000. In 3 years' time, I was worth $500,000, and that's good. But the bad news is I spent $600,000. You know.
Right, exactly. Well, you had some pretty big names come over there to Bananas too.
Yeah, I had Chubby Checker, Mickey Gilley, Hank Jr., Johnny Lee, the Bellamy Brothers, on and on. I can't remember all of them.
Well, that's an impressive lineup. I mean, just that.
For a young guy, it happened too quickly, you know what I mean, for me. But I've been blessed. The only regrets I have is something I had no control over, what happened in my family about not handling it. And I think I smoked too much marijuana back then, but I'll blame that on Willie.
But you know, you do things to get by, and
Oh, yeah.
you know, you don't seem that you've fallen into any sort of, you know, funk. You're back up on your feet. You're doing stuff.
Yeah. The musicians I have are some of the best, so I'm excited about that. We play the Hangar and Roadhouse Blues, and of course any place around. You know, the drummer I have is Fred Hayes, and Fred's played on hits by Aaron Neville and people like that. You know, so I'm blessed with some great musicians, and I'm excited about still playing, and I want to play till as long as I can, you know. But I'm even more excited about what I create in here in the studio. That's what's going to be what I leave behind, is songs and things like that.
And part of that is what you're doing here at Boulevard Studios too. So
I'm excited about this. They've actually named this street out here, Forsyth Street, is really Dwayne Allman Boulevard now, all the way from here to College Street. So I'm going to call it Boulevard Recording Studio, and we're going to have roughly 60-track digital recording facility right here. And I really have spent about 15 years studying audio engineering. And I'm excited about finally maybe putting it all together. The combination of everything we have is about 60-track digital, and when you consider the Beatles and Otis Redding recorded on 4 and 8 tracks, to have 60 tracks digital and to have the equipment we've got now to make records, I think we can make a compatible product, audio fidelity-wise, with anything in Nashville. I really do.
Larry, man, it's a pleasure.
Hey, thank you, Chris. I appreciate it, man. Very much.
Keep on trucking, all right?
Got to keep on.
All right.